There are so many toys out there that can transform but are not a part of the Transformers brand. For the past year, I've been doing a series where I look into these toy lines and give my thoughts as a Transformers fan. I have a great episode for y'all today. Welcome to part 4 of Transformers that are not Transformers. What's good, internet? Jake here, dumb as ever, and in today's video, I have even more toy lines to go over with y'all. This is one of my favorite video series to do because a surprising amount of toy lines have done the transformation gimmick, so I get to talk about a whole bunch of different stuff. If you haven't seen the other episodes, no worries, check out my Transformers playlist for all of my videos about Transformers and not Transformers. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps me out with the villainous algae rhythm. Before we get into the video though, this video is sponsored by Raycon. Raycon is a company dedicated to making your day-to-day life much better by providing excellent and affordable earbuds. Raycon sent me a pair of their everyday earbuds and it has made my day-to-day life so much better. Please ignore the box my dog Finn got to it, yours will not come pre-chewed. Listening to music while doing dishes, walking the dog, or even writing this script has never been more convenient, and the sound quality is amazing. Seriously, what witchcraft does Raycon perform to get this much quality into such a small product? My ear holes run a bit small, but that's not an issue with Raycons because they come with these different gel tip sizes, so you can find the perfect fit. By the way, they designed the earbuds themselves to be as ergonomic as possible by scanning 1,000+ ears. That's a lot of ears, dog. Where are they doing all the ear tests, and where can I sign up? You can also customize and protect your earbuds with the everyday protective case. I chose the Ocean Waves option because I grew up next to the ocean and looking at large bodies of water relaxes me, okay? If you're liking what you're hearing and seeing, please go to buyraycon.com/dumbjake to get up to 15% off site-wide. That's a great deal for some great earbuds. So I suggest you check that out, and thanks to Raycon for sponsoring this video. Batman Beyond, Spectacular Spider-Man, Transformers Animated, and so many more action cartoons were on TV, not to mention the incredible Cartoon Network show. At some point, TV execs must have realized that kids prefer comedy, or it's just easier to make comedy, because I swear that's what every new cartoon is now. Though it's completely possible I'm super out of touch, let me know if there are any fire action cartoons out lately. Anyway, Teen Titans was an absolute Cartoon Network staple for me. I watched so many of the episodes so many times. Am I crazy, or did it seem like some episodes of cartoons would get replayed way more than others? Like, I'm confident I watch 95% of the show on air, but sometimes I would see a new episode I've never seen before right after the 100th viewing of that creepy ass puppet episode. My favorite character was always Cyborg. I love his blue technology pattern in his design, and I love that the tech he designs has the same patterns that he does. His friendship with the Beast Boy is also a highlight to me. And I have such a soft spot for characters whose appearance is altered by their powers, and the story arc of them having to learn to accept their new selves. I rewatched some of season 1 for this video and was pleasantly reminded of one of my favorite episodes, Force of Nature. This episode features the Titans battling two godlike beings called Thunder and Lightning. The two brothers come down to Earth to cause havoc and destroy things for fun. Throughout the episode, the Titans fight the brothers, and Beast Boy slowly convinces Thunder that the destruction he and his brother are causing is wrong. Unfortunately, Beast Boy can't convince him before Slade tricks the brothers into helping him summon a fire monster to destroy the city. After seeing the destruction caused by the monster, Thunder is finally convinced to stop by Beast Boy. The brothers fight at first, but Lightning is also convinced to stop, and they work together to make rain and stop the monster. Oh, also Slade and Robin fight for the first time, and Slade's disguise is broken, and it reveals his mask under a fake face. This man is literally wearing 2 masks. That is dedication. Had a toy line. The only Teen Titans toy I ever had as a kid was the comic book heroes that would come in this packaging that looks like a comic book page. It's a cool idea, but the presentation is a bit messy. Later waves of the minifigures had Build-A-Figures like the Titans Towers or their T-Sub vehicle thing. I would show you pics, but I swear I cannot find any. I distinctly remember having this pack, but I can't find any photos of the complete Titans Tower or even photos of Series 3 at all. The main toy line is made up of 4-inch action figures, which look okay, I guess. Some look better than others for sure, and the articulation is pretty strange. They have unarticulated arms, but their legs have knees and even a thigh cut. I feel like if they just added an elbow bend, these would have been really great action figures. The character selection is really impressive as well. They have a toy for pretty much any character you could want from the show. In terms of transforming toys, there are a couple Beast Boy figures that can transform, which makes perfect sense given his ability to turn into any animal. They could do a whole Animorph style line of Beast Boy transforming toys, but instead he got two. The first being Shape-Shifting Beast Boy, which seems like a normal action figure, but he has a little cheetah head hanging off his back. He also comes with an extra cheetah back piece and transforms into this. Woof, that is a rough cheetah mode, man. Looks more like his fit for a furry convention. Beast Boy would totally be a furry, right? He's basically like King Furry. The second transforming Beast Boy is somehow even worse. Snake Shifting Beast Boy splits in half to turn into a snake. It is horrifying. I take it back. We don't need a whole toy line of transforming Beast Boys. I'm good with just the two, actually. There were also transforming and combining vehicles for your figures to ride on, with most of them being made up. I remember the commercials for these and always thought they looked kind of lame. Like, the transforming and combining aspect is kind of cool, I guess. The real gem of this toy line is the T-Bot, in my opinion. The T-Bot is a combining robot made of 3 vehicles, but unlike the other combining vehicles, these are actually from the show. The vehicles are Robin's bike, the T-Sub, and Cyborg's car. I love Cyborg's car, it looks so slick, but unfortunately a figure can't ride in it due to the transformation, though there are other versions of the car that can hold figures. Cyborg's car transforms into the T-Bot's legs, the T-Sub into his body, and Robin's motorcycle into the head. I have to admit, this is way more Megazord than Transformers, but it freaking transforms, okay? It counts. The robot mode is awesome, very Japanese super robot, and he can wield the entire Titan's tower as a weapon, which is super funny. He can also replace one of his arms with a cyborg bird head, which is neat and has a punching feature. Though the mecha never appears in the cartoon, it does appear in the comics. In issue 9 of Teen Titans Go, not that one, Gizmo is on a huge crime spree and is handily whooping the Titans' asses. Cyborg enlists the help of Fix-It, a master of machines who Cyborg meets in episode 5. Fix-It upgrades Cyborg to give him some of Gizmo's tech, but Gizmo gets away and Cyborg ends up causing more damage with these upgrades than intended. After that battle, Gizmo starts wrecking the city in a giant robot using Cyborg's technology out of spite. The Titans are again defeated and Fix-It helps them upgrade their vehicles. The vehicle combines into a robot which Cyborg dubs the Titans GoBot 5? Bad name aside, the two mecha battle and ultimately destroy each other. The lesson being that fighting fire with fire doesn't always work. It's a decent tie-in comic, and I like that they adapted the show's animation style of using chibi characters sometimes. They also have these little jokes at the bottom of some of the pages, like it's a comic book popsicle stick. I believe the robot comes back in later issues, but there's like 50 issues, bro. I don't want the smoke. The T-Bot is easily one of the most interesting toys in the line, though my favorite is the large T-Sub vehicle. I always thought it looked so cool because it reminded me of the Star Wars N1 Starfighter, one of my favorite spaceship designs. They also made a T-Booster vehicle which could attach to the T-Sub, which is something I like about this toy line. So many of the toys work together. There's a lot more toys to this line, but those are the main transforming toys. I'm probably going to end up watching the rest of Teen Titans because of this video, so let me know what your favorite episode is in the comments. Also, shout out to Prime Kelly 414 who alerted me to the existence of the T-Bot, and Battle Up Saber for letting me know about the comic. Godzilla is easily the most iconic kaiju of all time, being known worldwide. I became a much bigger fan of the franchise fairly recently because I was blown away by Godzilla -1 and have really enjoyed the Godzilla and Kong MonsterVerse movies. I don't know if this is a hot take, but my least favorite MonsterVerse movie is King of the Monsters. I don't think it's a terrible movie necessarily. Trust me, as a Transformers fan, I watch terrible movies, but I do think it's a lot of action for 2.5 hours with a really weak human plot, and the movie just begins to feel like a slog to me by the third act. Much like the R.E.V.s Transformers movies, I think King of the Monsters sometimes works better as YouTube clips of all the coolest scenes with the monsters. In contrast, I feel like the Tyree Henry in them. I already liked him, but since his performance as Megatron in Transformers 1, I gotta say he's one of my favorite actors. Sorry, got way off topic. Hopefully you don't take my MonsterVerse opinions too seriously. It's a series I really enjoy, and I'm glad we're getting more. But I love Godzilla. From its ultra-serious, almost horror movie original movie to the superhero-esque MonsterVerse series, I just think this big stinky lizard is neat. So let's talk toys. In the interim between the two Godzilla and Kong movies, Playmates released the Titan Tech figures. This toy line only got 3 toys: Godzilla, Kong, and Rodan. Godzilla and Kong were released first, with Rodan being released later as a Target exclusive. The play pattern was pretty interesting. You would transform the monsters from their normal forms to a more weaponized version with rockets and knives on their knees. Of course, as we've seen with many toy lines before, transforming an organic creature can give some major body horror vibes. Like you're literally splitting Godzilla in half for most of the transformation, and pulling Kong's arms down reveals that his bone structure has been replaced with metal, meaning these MFers are not just armored up but full-on monster cyborgs. I have to imagine these cybernetic components have also upgraded Kong's ability to speak, because he bizarrely has a microphone. Like, he can speak sign language in the movie, but he doesn't talk. It's kind of funny seeing this tech version. On the other hand, it looks like he's from one of those 2000s movies where they give a monkey a job like skateboarding. Like, this Kong would definitely star in a movie called C.I. Ape or something. Rodan is probably the best looking one, though his combat vest looks more like a Christmas sweater to me. Obviously, none of these monsters need battle equipment, except Kong, I guess. But obviously Goji doesn't really need a little knife on his arm. But I kinda love how dumb it is. Silly ass toys like this used to be the industry standard. Another quote unquote transforming toy comes from the Godzilla x Kong toy line, the Titan Evolution Godzilla. The play pattern of the Titan Evolution Godzilla is peeling off the original rubbery Goji skin to reveal his new fully evolved self. Truly horrific stuff going on here. The rubber Goji skin is hilarious. Look at this man's face, dude. No thoughts in his head. Yay! The fully evolved Godzilla figure is pretty standard for the line, but he can move his arms out, which is unironically groundbreaking for this toy line. It's also really nice that the rubber Goji skin can kinda stand on its own, as derpy as it looks. Godzilla eggs. Why? I have no clue, but they exist and it's kind of epic. Naturally, the Godzilla egg is probably the best out of the ones I've seen. He just looks really good in Godzilla mode, though his egg mode is imperfect. These are like weird egg versions of Beast Box, but have way more simple transformations. Look at this King Ghidorah egg, bruh. He's more egg than monster, and look at those hilariously small wings. Bro is not getting off the ground. One of the coolest ones is actually from the 2014 Godzilla movie. This egg turns into a Muto, the female one, I think. I'm an unapologetic fan of the Mutos. Their design is the closest thing we've ever gotten to a Cloverfield monster versus Godzilla, and their battles in the movie are amazing. Whoever pitched Godzilla vomiting his atomic breath into Muto's mouth deserves so many raises. Anyway, I love the Muto egg because it looks so unique and alien, much like the Muto itself. Another fave of mine is the Mecha Godzilla egg, because that original Mecha Godzilla design is so deliciously goofy. The egg version of him may need to lay off the Bud Light though. Before I talk about the last toys in this section, we need to discuss the GOAT, Hideki Anno. Anno created the incredibly popular
Neon Genesis Evangelion,
which had an original series, a movie, another movie, and then like 6 more movies. Evangelion is often called a deconstruction of the mecha genre, and subverts many of your expectations going into the show. I only watched it when the show came to Netflix, and I really enjoyed it. I actually liked the weird, esoteric ending of the show a bit more than the end of Evangelion movie. I still haven't watched the reboot movies. Let me know if they're worth a watch in the comments. There is hella Evangelion merch, and the franchise almost rivals Godzilla in terms of popularity. Anno would even go on to direct Shin Godzilla, a movie that truly makes Godzilla the villain again, destroying Japan and suffering as its irradiated body continuously mutates until we see its final form, which is a destructive force of nature. The movie also deals with Japan's overly bureaucratic government, with a lot of the movie being about people debating on how to deal with the problem rather than actually doing anything. This movie was such a success that Hideki Anno, who is a total nerd for all this stuff by the way, got to direct Shin Ultraman and Shin Kamen Rider. I haven't seen either and I don't really know that much about either franchise, but I'm really interested in checking them out in the near future. And this year, everything is coming full circle as he is in charge of a new Gundam series called Gundam GQUX, or G-Quux or something, which is a goofy ass name, obviously. But goodness gracious, look at this mecha dog, it's pure fire. Anyway, the main reason I'm talking about him is because Bandai made a combiner robot out of all of Anno's creations. The toy is humorously named the Shin Japan Heroes Universe Project, despite this dude destroying like a gazillion people. The mecha is made out of Eva 01, Shin Ultraman, Shin Kamen Rider, and of course Shin Godzilla, and it looks just as insane as it sounds. The body horror aspect truly goes into overdrive as you rip Ultraman and Eva in half to form the mech's arms and legs. Shin Godzilla makes up most of the body, with his creepy ass head ending up at the center of the chest. My favorite piece is Shin Kamen Rider, who rides a bike that turns into the robot's head, but Kamen Rider himself stays on top of the head, which I think is funny. This combiner is a complete abomination, man. It's got legs that are way too long, and the head is prone to popping off of the ball joint. But I can't lie, it's pretty cool that this thing even exists. And it really seems like the type of thing only a Japanese company would do with a bunch of properties they own. For that reason, I can't help but love this cursed totem of characters from really good movies. I love talking about Godzilla, and I can't wait to talk about him again, which will be very soon. Playmates is known for their licensed toy lines like Godzilla and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but sometimes they do strike out on their own, like with their REVS line of action figures. REVS, or Radically Engineered Vehicles, is a line of transforming toys, kind of. Really, it's a line of thin robots that can fold up into these vehicle-shaped shells, and the shells are able to break apart and become armor for the robot. This is an extremely undocumented toy line. With so few videos on YouTube, it actually boggles my mind. So forgive me if this section is more of a slideshow than usual. Trust me, it won't be long. As per usual, the line is made up of two different factions despite having no lore. The Syndicates and the Mavericks, which is a play on the word Mavericks. Shout out Logan Paul. I don't know why one team has a pun name and the other doesn't, but whatever. There are 3 size classes in this line according to this Toy News International article. The first being the Scrappers, which I would say are equivalent to deluxe class Transformers. There's also the Street Strikers, which are slightly bigger cars, I guess. And finally, we have the Auto Assault class, which are much larger robots with big vehicle mode shells like SUVs. There must have been an even smaller size class also in the line because this one, Rumble Fist, turns into a little dirt bike that's even smaller than the Scrapper size figures. I unironically like the dirt bike one the best. It's just funny how the robot guy is yoga posing into the bike mode. I don't hate these guys, I guess I'm just bored by them. They don't really do anything clever, the robot designs are boring, and the way these guys quote unquote transform is pretty lame, with it being a complete parts former. It also seems like things are a bit rickety, and when you have this many removable parts, you want your toy to be rock solid. Of course, the many different parts also means that buying these things secondhand is probably a nightmare. I really wish I had more to say on this, but there's just not much here. These guys are just kinda like a bad version of the Parasites toy line I covered in volume 2. The best compliment I can think to give is I like how big the big robot is, but besides that, I can see why this line failed and seemed to evaporate from public consciousness. Honestly, I had never even heard of this toy line, but a viewer of mine actually sent me an email about it. Since they went through the effort of typing up this email, I very much felt inclined to talk about these toys. Apologies to Liam though, I kind of hate them. If I had to choose a country to represent the concept of Transformers that are not Transformers, it would probably be South Korea. In volume 3, I discussed the Bakugan but Cars toy line called returning Mechard, which I knew about because some of the toys made it to the United States. I got several amazing comments informing me about the many transforming toy lines in South Korea, and as a result, I will be talking about at least one South Korean toy line in every Transformers that are not Transformers video from now on. I want to specifically thank Brickbot, who has helped me get started with my research into these subjects and has allowed me to use his footage of these toys. Check out his channel and give him a sub. He's got a ton of great videos on fantastic toy lines you've probably never even heard of before. Now, let's talk about Metal Cardbot. Metal Cardbot is a cartoon about transforming robot aliens that come to Earth as refugees when their planet is destroyed. The show and toy line were created by Sam G Entertainment, an animation studio who you might know for their work on Sonic Boom or The Miraculous Ladybug. Sam G had found previous success with their show and toy line Mini Force, which is more of a Power Rangers that are not Power Rangers situation. Metal Cardbot is about June, an elementary schooler with a Sonic-ass haircut who comes into contact with Blue Cop, a metal cardbot from the planet Machina. Machina was destroyed, so now the Metal Cardbots are searching the galaxy for a new home, with many of them landing on Earth. Blue Cop wants to make Earth the new home of the Metal Cardbots, so his goal is to get the others that are coming to Earth to fit in and respect the humans that live here. June is able to help Blue Cop because he is gifted the prophetic Metal Breath, a wristwatch type thing that can capture Metal Cardbots and lets June control them. So I watched the first 10 episodes of the show, and I watched the Singaporean dub of it. The dub is interesting, with a terrible, terrible theme song.
Go find the cards to the end of this road. Together we'll go find them all. Shout out, go Metal Cardbot, go! The Metal Breath will help us do it all. Let's go, Metal Cardbot, go!
Everyone in the show has like a clear accent, and some of the performances can definitely feel like the script is being read phonetically sometimes. But honestly, I just got used to it, and the show can be unexpectedly funny sometimes because of the dub.
Oh, why is it so sweet?
By one sugar, did you mean one cube?
You're trying to give me diabetes, huh?
Also, June's watch slash Digivice slash Pokedex slash Omnitrix is called the Metal Breath in the show, but I believe it's actually supposed to be called Metal Brace, and the name in the show is a mistranslation. As a Transformers fan, I can't help but compare the plots. Instead of fighting a war, the Metal Cardbots are refugees of a lost world looking for a new home. I kinda love that. It's an interesting idea because usually Cybertron is always still around, even if the planet is a lifeless husk in some cases. Overall, based on what I've watched, the main focus of the show isn't winning a war or anything, it's rehabilitating these robots and helping them adjust to their new home. The first Metal Cardbot we meet besides Blue Cop is Mega Trucker, a big old dump truck that loves to dance, and attempts to boogie down with terrified humans. He's also destructive and just in general causes trouble and draws human attention, which Blue Cop wants to avoid. There's also Phoenix Fire, a Metal Cardbot who was revered for his firefighting ability on Machina, but develops a phobia of fire after his spaceship burns up in Earth's atmosphere. As a result, he drives around town and extinguishes even the smallest fires, like birthday candles. Each episode's conflict is usually resolved by June's allied Metal Cardbots battling a wild Cardbot. Though Blue Cop is usually the one to do battle since he and June are the closest, Blue Cop is definitely like the Optimus Prime or Dragonoid of the show. Each Metal Cardbot has a special weapon. For example, Blue Cop has this giant power gauntlet with rockets, and Mega Ambler has a big old pair of scissors. I have to admit, I love this show, which is completely unexpected. Like, everything tells me I shouldn't like it, the dub is terrible, the animation style is a bit weird, and the story can feel very surface level. But man, the animation is also surprisingly awesome sometimes, and the battles can be really cool. What's even cooler is the show is directed by a Transformers fan, Seoro O. I hope I'm pronouncing pronouncing that kind of correctly, who has a YouTube channel with these 2D Transformers animations that you've probably seen before. I love meeting these metal Cardbots as well. Every time we get to meet a new one, it's exciting, and they do change things up, like with Shadow X. Shadow X is Jun's #1 hater and plays a bunch of pranks on him, and just actively attempts to ruin Jun's day because he views Jun as someone who wants to boss all the metal Cardbots around. And honestly, I can't blame him. Jun goes around with Blue Cop, beats up metal Cardbots, and then captures them with his metal brace. And when they're captured, it at least appears to me that Jun can command them, and in some cases, it seems like the metal Cardbots can't do anything without Jun telling them what to do. But in Jun's defense, it's not like he was attempting to become the god of metal Cardbots, and he is actually really good friends to the metal Cardbots and seems to take the responsibility of the metal brace seriously. In my opinion, it's not really Jun's fault he became the metal Cardbot Lisan Al-Gaib. The last episode I watched was a two-parter about the arrival of Heavy Iron, a huge metal Cardbot that is a dangerous outlaw. Heavy Iron is like an evil version of Ultra Magnus, as he can only transform when he has the trailer for his truck mode. The metal Cardbots try to stop him but are unsuccessful and almost defeated until they're saved by this mysterious metal Cardbot. This show reminds me a lot of Transformers Cybertron. I think it's because of the 3D art style and the awesome transformation sequences that Transformers cartoons just don't do anymore. Okay, I probably yapped way too much about the cartoon, but it's my YouTube channel and I get to choose the hyperfixations I yap about. Anyway, let's talk toys. This is another aspect of metal Cardbot that reminds me of Transformers Cybertron. The toys are nice big chunkers with simple transformations that are still fun. It feels like these types of Transformers are a rarity nowadays, though there were some nice chunky Optimus Primes for Transformers 1 that I was tempted by. The metal Cardbot toys are really awesome. I love that the vehicle modes have big eyes like they're from Disney's Cars. It adds so much to the vehicle mode for me. I know the whole thing is robots in disguise, but unfortunately in their alt modes, Transformers usually lose their personality a bit. But with the big eyes, the robots can still have personality in vehicle mode. The way the Autobots are able to express themselves in vehicle mode is an aspect I love of Transformers animated. So I really dig this big eye thing on the vehicle modes, if you can't tell. Anyway, all of the metal Cardbots turn into chunky vehicles and transform in a pretty simple way, though there are some interesting steps sometimes, like the way Mega Ambler's waist extends and rotates. The robot modes are fairly accurate to the show, but it's not one-to-one, and oftentimes the proportions feel off. Like Phoenix Fire should be much bulkier than he is. The main gimmick of the metal Cardbots are the actual metal cards. Every robot comes with one and a weapon that transforms into a block that can be attached to the metal card. You can also use the metal cards with the Metal Brace roleplay toy to get exclusive noises, a very Power Rangers type of toy. The weapons are pretty cool, they're made out of translucent plastic, and I like how they all transform into little cards. My favorites are Phoenix Fire's forearm mounted sledgehammer and Shadow X's gigantic ninja star. Metal Cardbot is a relatively new toy line and series, with the first series coming out in March of 2023. The show was a success and has a growing fan base, so of course Sam G released a season 2 called Metal Cardbot S in August of 2024. Now I haven't watched any episodes of Metal Cardbot S because I think it is a direct continuation of season 1 and I haven't finished season 1 yet. If you're watching Metal Cardbot S, let me know what you think of the show. The toys for Metal Cardbot S are already an upgrade from the first series, the primary example being the differences between the two Blue Cop figures. The Metal Cardbot S version of Blue Cop is bigger, has a cleaner and more involved transformation, and has a better head sculpt. I do think the original Blue Cop's proportions are a bit better. The Metal Cardbot S Blue Cop's legs just seem a bit too long to me. The biggest difference is the metal card weapons. They have completely abandoned the translucent folding up card gimmick in favor of large painted weapons that are honestly way better. At first I wasn't super into this because I do feel like they completely lost the point of the compact transforming weapons, but look at Gigant Rex's metal card. Bro, that is not a card, that's an encyclopedia. But the metal card transforms into a gigantic dinosaur head weapon that is incredibly badass. Blue Cop's gauntlet is also way better now, and it even has finger and thumb articulation. Metal Cardbot S features primarily new characters, and my favorite new toy has to be this dude named Musclehide, a dope-ass crane vehicle that transforms into an an unusually buff robot. Bro legit has a 4-pack and is repping the cow skull belt buckle like a badass. I also love the white and teal color scheme, and his asymmetrical chest pattern looks striking to me. His metal card weapon isn't a weapon at all, it's an extra pair of arms with articulated fingers. He's so awesome, dude. Maybe the coolest robot I've seen in a while. The previously mentioned Gigant Rex is also sick as hell. He's a giant truck robot like Heavy Iron, but much like the other metal Cardbot S toys, Gigant Rex is a huge upgrade and just styles so hard on Heavy Iron. The red and yellow color scheme goes hard, and I love his dual blades and the previously mentioned giant T-Rex arm. These toys are amazing, and my biggest issue with the series at the moment is that it is pretty difficult to get these guys in the USA. Browsing eBay, I'm only finding these toys from $40 to $100 depending on size. I don't know if SamG would ever try to bring the toy line to America. They would definitely need a new English dub to be even taken somewhat seriously, but I think the potential is there. And I do think the toys would capture a certain vibe that Hasbro's Transformers aren't doing right now, but who knows, maybe it's just a better business decision to keep them in the East. I may need to take a trip to Korea, y'all. Once again, go to buyraycon.com/dumbjake to get up to 15% off site-wide. That's right, you'll get up to 15% off everything on Raycon's website, including 15% off all headphones during this special deal when you go to buyraycon.com/dumbjake. Thanks again to Raycon for sponsoring the video, and thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel further than liking and subscribing, I have a channel membership that gives you access to a members-only Discord where we do monthly movie nights. We just watched the 1998 Godzilla movie, and oh my god, it was insane. Next month we're watching Small Soldiers, and I've never seen it, but I've heard great things, so I'm really looking forward to that. Alright, thanks y'all for watching, and if you made it this far, then I got a little teaser. In the next Transformers that are not Transformers video, I'm going to talk about the most requested thing I've ever gotten, which is Gundam. I'll see y'all in the next one. Ciao.